I think that there's finally proof that the future of liberal corporate media really does depend on keeping as many people as possible completely stupid and afraid for their lives. You got to be afraid for their lives. You got to be completely stupid and terrified. And in order to keep you as frightened as possible, they beg you, they implore you, they need you to not listen to Trump. Do not read or watch his interviews. Do not watch his ads. His words are not important. His thoughts, his desires, his needs, his wants, those are all that matters. And the mainstream liberal corporate media, they're the only ones who can tell you what that is.
This is about politics.
All right, let's go to the trail and let's go to his quest to get 4 more years. President likes traditional media. As much as he hates the New York Times, he likes being in, he likes being on Time Magazine, he's on the cover. What would his second term look like? Now, why would they do something like this if it wasn't going to happen? One of the lines from Time Magazine says, Donald Trump is doing better in 2024 than he did in 2016 and 2020. In this story, I read the whole thing, and you did too.
Yes.
Totally different the way it's portrayed into the actual interview, which has Q&A all the way through.
Brian, so you flagged the story for me. So I go and read it, and what do I find? He's asked about whether he'll prosecute Fani Willis and brag, and he says, no, I don't want to do that. He's asked about prosecuting Biden. I wouldn't want to hurt Biden. I have too much respect for the office. He's asked about whether he'll respect the Supreme Court. When asked if he'd comply with all orders, he said he would. So that's the story, okay? But wait, what does the press do? And this is what they always do. MSNBC, Trump reveals terrifying plan for second term. Daily Beast, Trump's latest interview is his most scariest to date. NPR, same thing, most aggressive plans for a second term. It doesn't match his words. And this is what the press did to me at the podium, did his entire presidency, and they're continuing it.
And this way, Joe Rogan calls you the GOAT, because the greatest of all time, because you would flip it open and go, now let me tell you the questions you should be asking, which is true. No one can out-prepare you. Here's an example. During the interview, the president was asked, are you going to be a dictator? He said, why did you say this, Sean Hannity? He goes, I'm being sarcastic. It didn't stop Kamala Harris to say this.
Under Donald Trump, it would be fair game for women to be monitored and punished by the government.
But it's not true. She went on to say he wants to be a dictator, mischaracterizing people that aren't going to read Time.
Yeah, but you see that, man. I mean, none of that is surprising, right? But you know what is surprising to me? How does this stuff just not sink in ever with the average liberal? I mean, or just some of the lightly Trump deranged individuals that we know. Because you have people like Kamala Harris and all the other Biden-related gaslighters telling you that, you know, Donald Trump really does, he promises to be a dictator on day one. And he also promises a bloodbath if he's not elected. And they tell you, and they act like they believe it. They seem to believe it, but they tell you that he's a guy that will never leave office if you give him another opportunity. And that was my favorite, because they can never see the obvious question right in front of them, and they can never quite explain why. If he could do that, if he could actually do that, why didn't he do it in 2020? But they don't see that question out there. It's crazy. That's not the point of this video. It's just, I love it. These people, they're so beat over the head with this nonsense every single day. But when they actually hear the guy speak, or when they read a piece like is in Time, it just doesn't affect them. It does not wake them up. It's truly freaking remarkable to watch. But I do think that there's a simple explanation. You know, these people, I don't think they're all stupid. I think a lot of them are just protecting themselves. You know, the hardest thing I think a human can do is admit that they were wrong. And even harder than that is admitting that you were fooled, or you were scammed, or you were taken advantage of. It's very, very difficult to do. The good news about a vote, it's completely confidential. No one is going to know. Those people can keep their garbage, crazy bumper stickers. They can do whatever they want. They just got to pull the lever for the right guy in November. But that's just my take, man. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, be a part of our growth. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next